Yeah, I wonder, just looking back at last night's game, what were the conversations perhaps about bringing Urseg in any earlier than he did? Especially in the seventh inning too, with the man on second. I know Lorenzen was facing the bottom of the order, but just curious kind of what those decisions were like.
Yeah, challenging for sure. You're thinking tie game. We have confidence in Lorenzen, especially against left-handed hitters with his changeup, and also thinking uh, Ursig's likely to go multiple innings, trying to save every out possible. For him, probably in that situation there, if Lorenzen gets Verdugo, I'm looking at Ursig throwing 2 innings. So the possibility of him throwing 2+ is probably less likely. But certainly all those things were on my mind of even bringing him in the sixth inning. Nothing was off the table there. And then just trying to figure out, okay, how's the rest of this game going to unfold? Having it, if we had had the lead there in the seventh, he would have been in the game sooner. Tie game, certainly up for question of when we do it or not do it, but all of those things were in consideration.
Other questions for Matt?
Yeah, hey Matt, go ahead.
I was wondering if Yuli showed his wisdom and age last night for, I mean, the 11 pitch at bat, he's going to third when Salvi's out at home, scoring 3 runs. I just maybe if you comment defensively as well, just on his night in game one.
Yeah, I would start with that play in the first inning, just the wherewithal, the understanding, the ability to make that play look easy, make an accurate throw to the plate. His at-bats were tremendous, 2 walks. Surprisingly, looking at it prior to the series, he hasn't faced Cole a lot. I mean, they were teammates and all that kind of stuff, but I was a little surprised that he hadn't faced him a little bit more. I'm not sure why it just jumped out at me, but to have those at-bats against somebody you're not that familiar with, but like we talked about pregame, the 80-something postseason games, there's something to be said for that, and being able to slow things down and understand the moment. He certainly did show his professionalism. Wish that last ball had gotten up a little bit more for a homer. But regardless, yeah, he played an outstanding game all the way around.
Hey Matt, Ron Blum from AP. How different do you think you managed last night with the extra off day, with the bullpen usage?
Yeah, for sure. No question. I mean, if that's a first game of 3 in a row or something like that, you're gonna, I don't know if we possibly still would have gone to the bullpen at the same time, but maybe different guys. I don't know. I didn't think about it from the standpoint of, okay, if I didn't go back and deconstruct the game as if we had 3 in a row, because we don't. But that's, I talked about it prior to the game. If those first few innings go extra smooth for Waka, maybe, he gets that third time through, but they were making him work, and it was a challenge and all those things we talked about last night. But definitely the off days factor into the bullpen management.
And also, in any way, do the extra off days make it harder for the hitters just to stay in rhythm because it's so different from the regular season where you play 6 times a week or 7?
I don't think so at this time of year. I mean, we had an off day prior to the series in Baltimore. In September, we had an off day almost every week, if not 2 in some of the weeks. So I think, extra rest at this time of year is probably a benefit.
Thank you.
Matt, did you hear from Major League Baseball at all regarding that Chisholm call at second base? I know last night you were saying you hadn't heard an explanation yet.
Well, I asked for one. Yeah, they just said there was nothing clear and convincing to overturn it. If he had been called out, that call would have stood too.
Thank you.
What's Massey was saying yesterday just about the system overall when you've got a video like that, and how hard it is when you go back and look and see a pretty good evidence that he was out, and then it still stands. What's your view on that situation and the system as a whole?
Well, I think the system as a whole is something that we need. You know, I mean, it's technology is so good these days that I think that we should use it. We see it in all major sports, even in lower level sports, they're starting to use it as well. So I definitely think the system is needed. I guess the biggest question on my part is it's kind of like a court system, right? You have to clear and convincing, and what does that mean? And there's always going to be some interpretation, right? Unless it's somehow completely automated, which that's not something I should even speak on because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But you know, as long as there's reasonable doubt or whatever, then it's always, you know, the stands versus overturned. That's going to be a tough decision for them. And look, I understand. I don't know how many people looked at it in the office and all that kind of stuff, but clearly we're saying that there was evidence to overturn it, but we're talking about a fraction of an inch at high speed and all that. I understand how difficult that is on everybody involved. So clearly we thought we had a good case to have it overturned. Didn't go our way. You know, I mean, that's a crucial point in the game, but there were a lot of other crucial points in the game as well that we just have to figure out how to be one better when those kinds of things happen.
Other questions for Matt?
Q, you bring in Hampson to pinch hit there, big at bat. What went into that decision leading into the 2-run RBI?
Well, Tim Hill's really, really tough sinker baller. Once we got a guy in scoring position, we were going to go to Hamps, probably even if it was just a guy on first, because we like his opportunity to make contact there. We like the fact that he can force things on the bases as well. You know, clearly they want Tim Hill in there against left-handed hitters. And so to give Hamps an opportunity. Now, I think Tommy's at bat prior to that helped out a lot in putting some pitches on Tim, but also on guys seeing what he was doing and how he was pitching. So that's kind of how we've been built to use the platoon in that spot. And I think that's a great opportunity for Hampson, somebody that's you know, his veteran player, that the moment's not going to be too big for him.
I've got one more. Bobby said last night his biggest takeaway was like, look, we didn't play, you know, we're close to our best game, but we were right there, right? One run away, a game that could have gone either way. Is that kind of maybe the sentiment of the team heading into this off day and then game 2?
Well, if that's what Bobby said, that I mean, that's how he's feeling. I mean, you know, you'll hear clearly. I mean, we came into this series knowing we belonged in this series. It's not a well, can we play with these guys? We know we can play with these guys, and we're not playing this this isn't a feel good thing. We're trying to win. So that we came up short last night. We issued a lot of free bases. We did not do enough to win the game, and that's really the takeaway for me. Now, I have no question in my mind that they're going to be ready. We are going to be ready to play come Monday. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be another great environment, and our guys are going to be ready.
Thank you. I know we talked a lot about the quality of at bats, but just the aggressiveness by some of some of your hitters early in counts. What did you think about that, and do you think it can carry on over into game 2?
Well, yeah, we swung the bats well last night. I mean, I think that's the best we've swung the bats probably in a couple weeks, to be honest. And to do that against Cole was reassuring. I mean, you go back to the first inning, Massey puts a good swing on it, Bobby puts a good swing on it, Vinny puts a good swing on it. We don't, you know, you come away with nothing to show for it, and which that's baseball. It's not, that's going to happen, right? They hit some balls that they didn't get anything to show for either. But you know, we know we're going to have to swing the bats to beat these guys. It's going to be they're a good lineup, and especially you know, you can't expect to keep them to 0 or 1 run very often. So we know we're going to have to swing the bats, and I certainly hope they built some confidence yesterday.
Q, are you ready to announce a game 3 starter? Or are you gonna wait a little bit longer for that?
We're gonna wait just to see how game 2 evolves.
And with Lugo presumably on, obviously enough rest for game 3, would he be available, or was he available in the bullpen yesterday?
He was not yesterday, no.
Okay. Hey, just wondering what you guys can take from yesterday, given the offense in general. I know it's not the way you wanted that game to go, but as you try to get the offense going, the swings that you guys are able to take off of Cole.
Yeah, obviously, it's good for us, especially coming off a series where we didn't score very many runs, and we kind of had the pitchers, win that series for us. And obviously, Garrett Cole being one of the best arms in the big leagues, for us to have some good swings off of him, especially even in that first inning. Obviously, nothing to show for it, but I feel like in the first inning we had some really good swings, and that kind of set the tone. I feel like we put some good at bats together yesterday.
Did you need that kind of momentum? I mean, I know you guys have been working to get the offense going, and like you said, of the wild card series. Did you need to see some of that, even though the end result wasn't what you wanted?
Yeah, I think that definitely builds confidence for us moving forward. Obviously, that's their number one, and I feel like we had some really good at bats. Even just taking advantage of the mistakes. Pitches that he didn't want to make. And I just feel like also like every time that they put an inning together, we were able to bounce back and put an inning together ourselves. It just showed like the fight that we continue to have.
MJ, is being aggressive a part of you guys' kind of game plan of attack moving forward, like early in accounts against a good Yankees pitching staff that they have?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that anytime you're facing elite pitchers, the last thing you want to do is, get down the hole early. If that means either, jumping on the first pitch that you see in the zone, or even, having long at bats is not a bad thing either, getting their pinch count up, just obviously just trying to be control of the at bat and control of the at bat. And, whenever they make mistakes, just try to take advantage of those.
MJ, can you describe the feeling of rounding the bases in Yankee Stadium in a big playoff series to give your team the lead after a big home run?
Yeah, it was definitely pretty cool. Very surreal moment. It was pretty neat to hear the crowd just kind of silence. As you're running the bases, I think that's awesome, and that's something that we look forward to doing again on Monday. We were able to do it in Baltimore, and it was pretty cool. That place was super loud. Both stadiums very loud, and just to kind of hear it go silent is it means you're doing something right.
Hey, MJ, Ron Blum from AP. From your vantage point in the left, did you have any view of the tag play at second base?
Yeah, it was tough to see in real time. Obviously, I'm far away. We all see the replay on the scoreboard, and hoping that it goes our way. Obviously, we saw it differently than what it ended up being called. So obviously a little unfortunate, but something that we hope to put ourselves in a better position next game moving forward. So where hopefully it's a little bit better than a one-run game in our favor, and we can make up for it.
Is it hard to believe with the dozens of cameras everywhere, there wasn't really one clear shot of both the foot and the glove at the same time?
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Obviously, not sure where every single camera is pointed to or aimed to, but obviously we wish it would have gone our way. Thought he was out, but they viewed it otherwise. Hopefully we can have a couple things go our way, and these next couple games and stuff that can kind of swing the momentum towards our side.
Thank you.
MJ, going back to even last year when Q was first hired, he was pretty open about using his bench and the platoons and different matchups. Now that you've been with him for 2 years, I wonder how is that easier to embrace now, given that he's been so consistent with the way that he uses his bench and the entire roster.
Yeah, I feel like, we kind of have an idea of, what's going to happen in certain situations. Obviously, every situation, every game is different, dictates different things. Sometimes if it's, early in the game, may not be pinch hit for just because, you never know who can come in the bullpen later in the game. So, we do have a feel for it. I think, at the end of the day, everybody's just, wants us to get the win, wants, the job to get done. So I think we're definitely a little bit more used to it and kind of understand in certain situations when a move is going to be made.
Did it take a while to get used to it? Just thinking back to like last year, and he was pretty consistent with it, but it is different from maybe what you guys are used to or just baseball in general.
Yeah, it's definitely a little different. That you see across the league, it's happening a lot. A lot of managers are starting to do it. Like I said, I think it just depends on certain situation, kind of flow of the game. Obviously, we've seen that if the guy's having a really good day at the plate, it doesn't really matter who he's facing, right or left, and um, I think that's just kind of like the way the that's going to kind of dictate what happens. Obviously, certain pitchers are going to be tougher than others, right on right, left on left, or whatnot, or even guys that are right on left tough, or left on right that are a little bit tougher. So guys with reverse splits. So I think just kind of just the way the situation is going to kind of dictate everything.
Hey MJ, this is Jorge Castillo with ESPN. A lot is made of the schedule and how different it is, in the postseason compared to the regular season. I mean, how do you guys look at this, having this like kind of just random off day between game one and game two? Is it a good thing? Is it strange? How do you view it?
It's definitely different. Obviously, used to playing pretty much every single day with the rare off day every 1.5 weeks or so. So it's definitely different, but we're just going to use it to our advantage. Take a day to relax. Kind of reset and attack tomorrow head on. So it's definitely different, but I think it can be really good for us.